What's up, everyone? Patrick again with another quick build breakdown. This is just a printed Datsun body on it, a few layers of paint, some sanding, and then for these dents, I just held my heat gun on a rock until it got super hot, and then I held the rock with some pliers and just pressed it into the body, give it those sort of dents. I forgot to turn on enable or detect thin walls, so the logo got messed up back here, and I just put this on, but just something little. The chassis itself, this is the new Edge chassis, so it is somewhat based on the Kamak chassis, but a little more ground clearance to it. It's got a 9-degree skid and an open concept. So I just wanted it to be easier to fit all your electronics and everything like that in there. And then if you choose, you can run it with a cage. Like that. And that just mounts with 4 screws there, one on each corner. Or you can put some magnets and just run it with a body. There we go. These shock mounts here are reversible, so if you flip them upside down, you'll have, again, an area for your magnets, front and rear. It's a little tough to see. And that'll just give you better ground clearance, or you can keep them like this, have a slightly lower center of gravity. And this chassis, the way it is set up for Gladiator links. Included in the chassis kit will be these front upper links, just because those are the ones that the stock ones don't work there, and most aftermarket ones won't. The width of the chassis is about 52 millimeters, which is significantly wider than a stock one. What that gives you, though, is the upper links mount wider than they would if it were like an outboard setup on a standard chassis, which makes it incredibly stable and just a very predictable chassis overall when you're driving it. I'm running nylon Super 8s with printed wheels, but they have a very positive offset, so it just sits a little bit wider than it would on stock axles. These Endura big bore shocks have been great. You'll see there's a little like bleed hole there even, so if you overfill them, it bleeds right out, which is great. Underdrive in the rear, overdrive in the front. I think it's just like a 30-something% difference. It's not too big. With EXO drive shafts up front and some printed steering links, they've been great. I want to upgrade this servo at some point. Just something nicer, more powerful. The Endura Fat Viper has been great. This one's the 2400 kV, so a little more speed. The Endura electronics fit into the large fuel cell perfectly. There's a smaller one as well. It's like 30 by 35 millimeters. But for this one, I have my on and off switch in there, the ESC part, and sort of all my other wires tucked around. So super easy to turn it on and off. And then yeah, receiver, 450 milliamp hour battery. This is pretty big. You'd be a lot better off running like a 300 milliamp hour in here. I know that a lot of you guys already have that, especially for your comp rigs, but it's just a little more convenient. And the Enduro electronics are really big too. Like Furatech, or I don't know, a Rockwolf or a VTech ESC would easily fit into the small box. It's just the in-drawer stuff takes up so much space, so it needs the big one. And then I think that's about it. I've just got some printed inserts in the comp pins. These are used and abused, but I'll keep running them. They do great. And then just some printed links, again, Gladiator wheelbase. Oh, and for the skid plate, so you've got 4 holes on the bottom, which means that the motor's reversible in either direction, but also because it's physically wider, you can move, keeping the motor forward mounted like this, you can actually move it to either side of the mounting positions. So you have 4 millimeters of difference. If you want to get your motor dead center, or if you're trying to fit battery and motor like I do, kind of side by side, it just gives you those options, which is really nice. And then I think the last thing I wanted to mention is there's a front and a rear electronic tray. Obviously, with a big brushless motor like this, you won't be able to fit the front tray. Theoretically, you could just sort of like cut it in the middle, and like, because there's 2 screw holes, it'll kind of function as a shelf on this side. But they are reversible. You can flip them upside down. You can have them at a bit of an angle. Both the front and the rear have 4 different hole options, so you can really adjust that exactly the way you need it. But I think that's everything. This is, I think, how I'll be running mine. I do love the cage. You definitely get some more performance out of it, but the body just kind of hides everything nicely. And again, that was one of my main goals with this chassis, is to have it either hard body compatible or something like this. And if you are running a hard body like this, I just had to do a little bit of cutting. It's not very neat, but you can get it as neat as you want. And then I just have like a salad box in here for windows all around. So yeah, that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Patrick's RC's on Instagram, and I'm very happy to say that the first edition, the titanium version of this chassis, is all sold out, but I've got aluminum versions coming. They'll have the same printed pieces, and hopefully we can get some different colors of those for you too. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, thank you very much. Have a good one.